According to the Environment Protection Agency, environmental justice is the fair treatment and meaningful involvement of all people, regardless of color, race, nationality, or income, with respect to the development, enforcement, and implementation of environmental laws, regulations, and policies. Hello and welcome to Enterclimate. I am Shaleen, and in today's video, we will look at the environmental justice issues in India and their relevance for businesses in the context of environmental compliances. Understanding what constitutes an environmental justice issue in India will first need an understanding of the prevailing social disparities and environment-related problems that India is facing today. The neoteric ecosystem that we live in today has been built on the pillars of industrialization and technology. Economic development has on one hand raised the living standards for many, but on the other hand, it has also given rise to some problems such as uncontrolled exploitation of natural resources and the pollution caused by unchecked discharge of wastes from households and industries. Our focus on the developmental aspect led to the exploitation of nature and the degradation of the environment that we live in, which has harmed many natural ecosystems. The environmental justice issues in India are not limited to pollution and climate change, but are more complex. The concept of environmental justice is now popular in many countries after its origin during the civil rights movements in the US. Struggles by local inhabitants like tribal groups have picked up momentum in many countries including India. Environmental justice issues were present in India a long time before the popularization of environmental justice concept, but due to the lack of nationwide attention, they remained localized to that particular region. But as the social justice movements grew wider along with environmental issues, they began getting public support. The well-known Chipko movement was one of the most popular efforts to bring the environment into the center of India's consciousness. Since then, many famous and not so famous but equally crucial struggles have been fought by different groups, demanding the rights of inherent access to natural assets such as land, forests, water bodies, etc. A nationwide push for environmental justice movement came at the time of the Bhopal gas disaster of 1984. This man-made disaster resulted in activism and mobilization around the environmental issues concerning industry and the policies and their related legislation. There were also instances of central and state legislation related to forestry and wildlife preservation that diminished the local control of natural resources by those who directly depend on them. This issue, as well as many more such issues, created conflicts between the people and the state or the private development projects owners that could disturb or has the potential to harm the nature. It also brought in a wave of environmental justice movement in the country, such as the Narmada Bachao Andolan, Apiko movement, or the Silent Valley protest. If we analyze the major environmental justice issues in the country, these conflicts are often labeled as disastrous and face public resentment and mass boycott, as they are considered the starting point of the destruction of the natural habitat of local inhabitants, the flora and fauna of the area, and the livelihood of the people. Degradation of the natural balance due to destruction of natural ecosystems like forest and water bodies bring disastrous outcomes and also harms the livelihood of those who directly depend on them. This has led to public outrage in many forms such as direct violence, structural and cultural violence, slow violence, and ecological violence. As per some reports, more than 85% of the legal cases related to environment in the country are either high-intensity cases that include widespread mass mobilization and violence, or medium-intensity cases that have visible mobilizations like street protests, rallies, etc. The low and latent intensity cases are still brewing and have no visible organization and are comparatively fewer in number. Of all the high-intensity cases, 3/4 of the cases fall in just 4 categories: fossil fuels and climate change, water management, mineral ores and building extraction, and industrial and utilities conflicts. Groups of social scientists and environmental activists have been advocating for the rights of healthy living and livelihood for the affected communities. The government has also played an important role in protecting the rights of such groups. India's image as a positive jurisdiction in environmental matters through its proactive judiciary is now being internationally recognized. The National Green Tribunal of India, or the NGT, has played a vital role as a specialized body equipped with the expertise to handle environmental disputes. It has remarkably handled cases involving multidisciplinary issues, provided justice to the aggrieved, and offered greater plurality to environmental justice movements in the country. Today, India is facing severe scarcity of water, threats to its fragile ecology of the hills, water bodies, and the abrupt changes in weather patterns in many parts due to climate change. Many have unwillingly chosen to live in what is considered one of the most polluted conditions anywhere on earth. These issues have made Indians discuss the reasons for it and realize who is actually responsible. Environmental compliance for industries, therefore, has become the most essential measure to establish trust and continue their operation. Protecting the rights of a safe and healthy living by businesses for the ones their business depend on will be beneficial to the entity as well. Therefore, compliance with the applicable laws is the only way forward today. So this was all for today's video. Please like and share if you found the video useful. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you have any doubts concerning the compliance requirements for your business, contact Enterclimate experts from the details provided below. Thank you.